My name is Sepsis Quirk. Welcome to UFO Buster Radio.
Welcome to UFO Buster Radio, and there is a plane flying overhead, so I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's driving me bananas because the entire time before I even started recording, there was nothing. Thanks, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. So this is episode number 84. Episode number 84. And in the last episode, it was a little bit sad. It was not a happy time because the truth is that we received some really terrible news about MUFON and what they're doing. But we're going to follow up on that towards the end of this podcast because I got some information in the description. If you feel froggy, go ahead and jump now and check it out because I think we need to make a point because you and I want some answers, and we're not going to get answers from people who think that ufology is filled with a bunch of crazy, hokey, lying people who make up stories that are so magnificent that they become almost a fairy tale. But we'll get back to that at the end of this because right now we have reports that are being posted all over the place thanks to some of those tabloids that like exploiting things like alien stories. But this one has some good evidence behind it thanks to our newfound lovely reporting site of all things UFO, NUFORC, the National UFO Reporting Center. And now it sounds like we have machinery going on. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, I think that's over with. We can continue with our podcast. Hopefully that's the end of all the noises because I can't work under these conditions. It's not professional. Not that I'm professional because that's why I'm doing a podcast and not on the radio like some people I know, Dave in the Morning. However, there has been a significant amount of reporting over the state of Florida. That's right, the state of Florida on April 25th was a hotbed for UFO sightings. And we're not talking about just a couple of places. We're talking about all over the state of Florida. There was a major sighting, which this article that was reported in the Express UK is pretty much comparing it to the Phoenix Lights incident. That is how many people were making reports. Now, when you think about it, there's a very small percentage of people that do reports on UFOs for obvious reasons, right? They ran out of aluminum. They're hiding so that they don't get abducted. Things like that. They're just scared. On top of the fact that they get ridiculed by everyone around them. So, guess what? They don't report it. However, on April 25th, the people in Florida came out of the woodworks reporting a significant sighting. Now, I don't live in Florida. Big O lives in Florida. I don't think he reported anything. However, these reports were from all corners of the state. And we're talking about Plant City, Largo, Bradenton, Orlando, Florida, Clearwater, Florida, Port Charlotte, Florida, West Palm Beach, Seminole, Plant City, and the list goes on and on and on. This was a major sighting. Now, the information that was reported, of course, like I said earlier, it went to NUFORC, And basically, it started with the sighting in Bradenton. So from Bradenton, Florida at 8:40 p.m. East Coast time, there was a report of 3 orange lights which were seen in a triangular formation. I know what you're thinking. Why in the world does Manny keep talking about triangular formations? This isn't me, folks. This is what was reported. It is 3 orange orbs in a triangular shape. And then the reports continue from there because there were quite a few. At one point, there were 11 reports that came in around 11 p.m. And to quote, something traveling in a straight line leaving a trail of sparks. Now, honestly, a trail of sparks, it could have been something entering the atmosphere. I don't know. But anyway, it was seen for 2 minutes. And at 1:47 a.m. in Orlando, there was a report of 8 spherical balls of light which emerged from the clouds. Then there were another 8 events that took place for 15 minutes between 11:45 p.m. and midnight. One of the reports at 11:45 was from Clearwater, Florida, and if you haven't been there and you want to go somewhere where you can enjoy the sand and the beach and the sun, great place to go. Clearwater, Florida, been there a million times. But anyway, the report said bright green lights moving west to east for 20 seconds. At 11:50, 10 minutes to midnight, Port Charlotte, a white ball shaped with red and orange flames flew across the sky for 5 minutes. West Palm Beach, 11:52, a green flash, meteor-like object breaking up for 3 seconds. 11:53 p.m., Seminole, unidentified huge silent object seen for 10 seconds. Plant City, very low-flying cylinder craft with mostly green lights that trailed behind it for 20 seconds. And in Largo, at midnight, a dark-colored plane with all of the windows lit like the lights were on the plane. And that was seen for 15 seconds. Okay, so here's another interesting, fascinating report out of Pinellas Park, which is not too far from Clearwater, Florida. At 12:27 a.m., for 15 seconds, they also reported a plane with red blinking lights which seemed to be pulling what looked like a sparkler. So that description is quite interesting because you basically have someone reporting it at 11 p.m. and later on at pretty much a half hour past midnight, it was again reported in Pinellas Park for lasting for 15 seconds, and they both have the same description, which was a plane with a sparkling trail behind it. I don't know what that is, but we have cylindrical objects, we got green lights, we got red lights, we've got sparkly things, we got aircrafts, we got black aircrafts in the area. I mean, it was a hotbed of hot mess over Florida on the 25th of April. But let me do a quick search. So now, just to kind of feed those that are skeptics about these reports, because what they're reporting really sounds a lot like meteor showers. So being the all-around person I am, the Moonraker decided to go searching for meteor showers. So apparently, looking at the calendar for 2017, a Class 3 meteor shower, which apparently can produce pretty strong events or activity, things that make you go, During that time period, from April 15th to April 28th, there was the Cupids meteor shower. There was actually 2 other meteor showers happening during that time frame. One was the Lyrids and the other was the Aquarids. So the Lyrids started April 18th and ended April 25th. The Aquarids started the 24th of April and it's supposed to end May 19th. Now, the maximum activity for the Lyrids was April 22nd and maximum activity for the Aquarids was May 7th. And just to go back to the Pupids, variable meteor shower class 3, the maximum activity was going to be April 23rd. And again, the only reason I'm bringing these up is because a lot of the descriptions fit basically what many people might associate with meteors. So is there a possibility that these were meteors? Well, apart from the triangular shape, the cylindrical object, and the fact that they also reported some black airplanes, you're going to have to make the call. Now, for those of you who believe in conspiracy theories, is it possible that some individuals from 4.2 far decided to ride in during a meteor shower, which incidentally was apparently cloudy that night because a lot of the reports indicate that there were objects moving in and out of clouds. So unfortunately, if you're a meteor, you don't dip out of a cloud, hang out for a few seconds, and then just go back up north. So that's what that is. It is a significant event, and I haven't seen anywhere else where people are really posting a bunch of skeptical reports. But if they do, we'll figure those out and have them on the show this coming Sunday. In the meantime, Florida was not the only state to report quite a few sightings on the night of the 25th. There were actually 2 sightings that very night out of Oklahoma and the state of Maine. And if you know your geography of the United States, you know that Maine and Florida are very far from each other. Oklahoma is just north of Texas, so it's not any closer, but probably country-wise, it's like in between those 2 states. So from Oklahoma on the night of the 25th around midnight, an adult woman, because there might be some childlike women, I guess. I don't know why the report says an adult woman. Apparently she was on a commercial jetliner looking out of her window because it gets boring in there. And she was staring aimlessly into the midnight sky, when suddenly she witnessed 2 bizarre looking objects that appeared to be not too distant from the aircraft that she was on. One of the objects was shaped like a horseshoe, yellow in color, and the other was like a classic disc-shaped UFO, or saucer. The cool thing about this one is that she actually went home, got some watercolor out, and she painted what she saw. The links for the report and the painting are in the description. Feel free to check them out. Now, around that same time frame, in the state of Maine, around 9 p.m., there was another report. An adult male reported witnessing an unidentified red object that appeared to dance above the White Mountains of New Hampshire. I just love whimsical UFOs. After several minutes of watching the objects, the witness observed a very bizarre yellow-orange flash of light, at which time a second red object suddenly appeared. A short time later, a second flash occurred and both objects were gone. The reason I bring these other sightings up is because it also occurred on April 25th. A lot of the colors of these objects and the shapes that are being reported are similar. To me, right now, there is a connection. The question is whether or not these objects that are being seen from these people who are not very close to each other, from Oklahoma to Maine to Florida, is whether or not they all witnessed a meteor shower. The descriptions vary way too much to just assume that these are all meteor showers, but you may be able to draw to a conclusion that some of these might have been a result of the meteor showers that were going on that evening or for the last few days around that time. But I caution everyone to not jump to the conclusion that these were meteors. There is something else there. You make the call. Check out the links, they're in the description, as well as the article that was published in the Express UK, and let me know. Robo-O is going to let you know how you can reach us if you want to share some comments. Hit it, Robo-O.
Don't forget to visit us at UFOBusterRadio.com, Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. They hate us 'cause they ain't us.
Okay, last but definitely not least, before we end this time that we're spending together, you and I, talking about the bizarre UFO world, I said last week that MUFON had gone rogue because they're having Corey Goode join their ranks at a symposium in July. So I got a little bit more news, and I'm going to put this in the description. The title for the symposium in July for MUFON is called The Case for a Secret Space Program. So in other words, they've built this MUFON-sponsored get-together basically pretty much around Corey Goode. Is there a right or wrong to this? Should they be doing this? As I said before, my issue with Corey Goode and the gang, because he's not the only one claiming that he was part of a secret space program, is that they lack fundamental evidence. But on top of this, you have other UFO famous researchers that are going to be part of this symposium. And in addition to Corey Goode, there is another controversial person by the name of Gary McKinnon. So if you know about Gary McKinnon, you know that he was the dude who decided to hack NASA's computers and apparently got away with it for a bit. But in his search, he discovered some language in the files of NASA that made him think that possibly NASA had non-terrestrial officers. So to me, I can understand having Gary McKinnon there, because he's going to talk about what his findings were when he was rummaging through NASA's files, which is kind of weird that he would be at the symposium, because I thought the guy was still in hot water and he was fighting like extradition and all this kind of stuff a few years ago. So I guess we'll find out a little bit more about that. But I'm saying all of this because in the description I have the emails for Jan HARZAN, the executive director of MUFON, and Roger Marsh, the communications director. All you got to do is click. If you feel like I do, that it's terrible what they're doing by having someone like Corey Goode there, feel free to click on the emails and let them know. Remember, we the people, we are the ones who go through these experiences. We are the ones who want to know the truth. And I'm sorry, but in many ways, I agree with Ray Hernandez that Corey Goode really right now is mocking ufology, the search for the truth, and he may just be putting up some roadblocks that can be considered by many people as disinformation. But hey, that's up to you. You make that call whether or not it'll be worth letting these guys know that you think that action of having this individual there actually discredits that organization. So this has been UFO Buster Radio. I thank you guys for listening to my lunacy. I'll catch you on Sunday. Ciao.